Greetings and welcome to another Pokemon 2019 or Pokemon Journeys anime episode review. This time I'm talking about episode 64, so let's get to it. Episode 64 begins in Ceres Institute, where Ash and Goh tell Professor Ceres that they received a request from Hodge to investigate something in his hometown, Lavaridge Town. It turns out that the hot springs have dried out, and then Absol was seen around the same time, so the villagers blame Absol for the problem. So Hodge told Ash and Goh that they should investigate this Absol. Goh says that Absol has always been considered a disaster bringing Pokemon, and that many people still believe this superstition. Ash says that because of this, they thought that they should find out what the real cause of the problem is, and so they go to Lavaridge Town. Ash and Goh meet Hodge as soon as they arrive, and Hodge greets them while sitting on his Hariyama. Hodge notices that Goh has Grookey, who Hodge calls a rare Pokemon. Grookey greets Hodge, who tries to greet Grookey back by shaking hands. However, Hodge tries to do this while still sitting on Hariyama, and he struggles to bend far enough to reach Grookey. He does get close though, but Grookey decides to pull Hodge instead of shaking his hand, and so Hodge falls to the ground, which is hilarious. Grookey is such a troll, and I love that it even dances afterwards. Also, can I just say that Hodge's eyes remind me of the Rinnegan from Naruto. Hodge then gives Ash and Goh a tour of the town so that they can see its current state of desolation. Hodge says that everyone blames Absol for the current situation. Goh says that blaming Absol is a superstition, so Hodge then takes Ash and Goh to a tablet that has been in the town for generations. This tablet shows Absol surrounded by several disasters that have afflicted the town in the past. Hodge says that in the past, whenever Absol appeared, there was some sort of calamity. So this tablet was made so that the message that Absol is trouble could be passed down from generation to generation. The tablet even depicts the very problem that the town is currently facing with the hot springs. Hodge then takes Ash and Goh to his uncle's inn. At the inn, Hodge's uncle and the other villagers are getting ready to hunt Absol. They want to solve the situation themselves. Ash and Goh tell them to stop, but they refuse. Hodge says that Ash and Goh are here to help, but his uncle says that he doubts that Ash and Goh can help. But he says that Ash and Goh can join them in the hunt for Absol. Goh says that maybe Absol is trying to warn them of some disaster and hunting it is the wrong thing to do. The villagers get angry. They demand proof that Absol is innocent, and they say that Ash and Goh are here to criticize them. Goh says that if they have some time to investigate, then they can figure out what's really happening. So, Hodge's uncle agrees to give Ash and Goh 2 hours. If they take any longer, then the Absol hunt will begin. Hodge then takes Ash and Goh to the hot springs, and he says that his uncle encountered Absol in the mountain. Shortly after, the water started to get cold, and eventually the water just stopped flowing. Ash and Goh decide to look for clues around Mount Chimney since it's the source of the water for the hot springs, while Hodge stays behind to talk some sense into his uncle. Ash and Goh start climbing towards Mount Chimney, which ends up being a tough challenge, and they soon run into Absol. Absol immediately attacks Grookey without any warning. Absol then continues attacking. At first, it seems to attack randomly, and it slices everything in its path. However, for whatever reason, Absol focuses its attacks on Grookey, who tries to dodge by jumping from tree branch to tree branch. But Absol cuts the tree Grookey is on, which falls, and Grookey ends up knocked out. So Goh withdraws Grookey into its Pokeball. It is just so weird to see Grookey like this, since it's always so energetic and happy, and it never gets into any conflict. So it's odd to see it knocked out cold like this. And Grookey is even withdrawn into its Pokeball, which is also very unusual. After causing such a mess, Absol simply leaves before Ash and Goh can do anything about it. Since the main path is blocked, Ash and Goh find another way to continue their climb towards Mount Chimney. They eventually find pipes which leads them to the spring where the water is pulled from. The spring is frozen and the area around it is covered in snow. Goh says that hot spring water would not freeze no matter how cold it is. So Ash says that this means that something must be going on underground, but how can and they investigate underground. Go decides to use his trapinch to investigate. Trapinch uses dig, however, it soon returns to the surface because it's too cold and it can't keep digging any longer. I imagine that a ground type Pokemon would indeed hate this situation since they are weak to ice. Ash and Goh wonder what's going on and they feel a sudden chill. They soon encounter the source of this chill, a Glalie. Glalie attacks Ash and Goh, so Ash tells Pikachu to use Electro Web in response. Glalie then attacks again, this time with Blizzard or Icy Wind or maybe Powder Snow. So Ash, Pikachu, and Goh take cover behind some rocks. Ash decides to tell Pikachu to attack yet again, but Goh stops him, saying that they should follow Glalie since it could be the source of the problem. So they follow Glalie, who eventually gets to a cave. Two more Glalie and a Snorunt are in this cave. Ash and Goh realize that perhaps the Snorunt and the Glalie ended up here by accident. And since Mount Chimney is too hot for them, they decided to freeze everything. Goh says that he will solve the problem by catching them all. Typical of Goh to think that a Pokeball can solve everything. But Absol soon appears and it attacks Ash and Goh once again. Goh tries to reason with Absol by asking, why are you getting in our way? But Absol simply runs away again. Ash and Goh wonder why Absol keeps attacking them. Ash says that Absol must have some sort of reason, and Goh says that he wants to trust Absol as well, but he can't given the situation. Ash says that maybe Absol was trying to tell them something. So, Goh calls Hodge and he explains the situation. Goh then tells Hodge that he should check the tablet to see if it depicts anything relating to the current situation. Goh says that since the tablet shows several disasters that Absol has predicted in the past, it should help them determine what Absol is trying to tell them. Hodge calls Goh to reveal his findings. The tablet does depict the freezing of the spring alongside the eruption of Mount Chimney. Goh says that Absol was probably warning them about the eruption and he does some research on his phone. It turns out that 300 years ago Glalie wandered up the mountain and they froze the spring. When all the ice melted at once, the resultant steam led to an eruption. Ash and Goh then realized that the same thing could happen now and Absol stopped Goh from catching the Glalie because the eruption would happen sooner. Ash and Goh decide to head up to Mount Chimney so that they can stop the eruption. They soon see steam coming out of the mountain, so they realize that they don't have much time. Once they reach the top of Mount Chimney, they see that a big rock is preventing the steam from exiting, so Ash and Goh set their sights on destroying this rock. Goh sends out Cinderace, who uses Pyro Ball to attack the rock. Cinderace then celebrates like goal, which is fitting considering the inspiration for its design, but the rock is unaffected, so it's too early to celebrate. Pikachu then uses Thunderbolt, but this is equally ineffective. Pikachu and Cinderace then attack together, but they still can't break the rock. Man, if only Ash and Goh had more Pokemon they could use that could help here. Strong Pokemon like Dragonite, Golurk, Lucario, Aerodactyl, or a certain Dracovish that actually destroyed a bunch of rocks just one episode ago. If only they had such Pokemon, right? They could solve this problem pretty quickly. But I guess that then Absol would be unable to save the day since it soon appears and it attacks the rock as well. Now I have to say that Absol screams here when it gets ready to attack, and the sound it makes is just hilarious. Like, just listen to this. Funny, right? I can't quite say what it sounds like, but I do know that I could not stop laughing when I heard this. So, Absol attacks the rock and it is actually able to make a dent on it. Absol keeps attacking, Pikachu and Cinderace attack as well, and the rock eventually cracks. Absol is clearly tired out from all the attacking, but it still manages to headbutt the rock, which breaks it for good. However, the steam is expelled and Absol is about to be caught in it, but Goh throws a Pokeball at Absol in order to save it, so Goh catches Absol. What can I say? I am not surprised that Goh is the one that ends up catching Absol, but I am surprised that it happens like this. Goh once again throws a Pokeball at an unaware Pokemon that happens to be exhausted or injured, and Goh gets to catch said Pokemon easily as a result. This is what happened with Suicune Suicune. Suicune was busy with the hunters and it was both injured and poisoned. Go threw a Pokeball at it and Go ended up catching Suicune without any difficulty. Sure, both times Go wanted to save the Pokemon in question, but this does not excuse the fact that Go gets to catch rare, powerful Pokemon without actually doing anything to earn it. Normally, Go catches Pokemon by simply throwing a Pokeball at them. This is how he has caught most of his Pokemon. Now, this would not work on Pokemon like Absol and Suicune, or at least it shouldn't, so Go must catch them another way. But instead of having Go battle the Pokemon, or having him really bond with the Pokemon, they instead put the Pokemon in a situation where it can be caught without any struggle on Go's part. But also a situation where you can say, oh well, Absol was tired and distracted, so it makes sense that even a Pokemon like it can be caught easily. And this just feels cheap. A Pokemon like Absol definitely deserves better than this. So Absol's Pokeball falls to the ground and it's red from the heat of the steam. Cinderace treats the Pokeball like a Pyro Ball and it kicks it towards Go. Go sends out Absol and he says that he is glad that Absol is alright. Ash and Goh then look at where the rock was and they are relieved to see that everything is fine. Go then turns to Absol and he says that Absol is free to go. See, even Go realizes that he does not deserve to keep Absol, so he tries to release it, which is what happened with Suicune. Go knows that he caught both of these Pokemon only to save them, and not to actually catch them. He knows that he has no right to keep them. But just like Suicune, Absol chooses to stay with Go? Like seriously, why? Why does it end like this? This is pretty much Suicune all over again, but more infuriating because at least with Suicune, Go did something. He healed Suicune and he protected Suicune from the hunters. Go actually earned Suicune's trust and they developed a bond. A small bond, sure, but a bond nonetheless. So while I still don't like the fact that Go caught Suicune, I can at least understand why Suicune chose to stay with Go. I can accept it. But in Absol's case, there is no accepting it. There is no reason why Absol would choose to stay with Go. The first time they met in this episode, Absol attacked Go and then it left, leaving poor Grookey knocked out cold. The second time they met, Absol attacked Go again and once again it left. This time, Go said that he wanted to trust Absol, but he could not trust it. So Go started to distrust Absol while Ash always believed in Absol. The third and final time they met in this episode, Absol focused completely on destroying the rock. So Absol's interactions with Go were all hostile, or Absol was focused on something else. They did not form a bond, and Go did not care for Absol any more than Ash did. In fact, Go started to distrust Absol before he learned about the eruption, while Ash always believed that Absol had a reason for doing what it did, meaning that Ash deserved to get Absol more in this situation. The only thing that Go did is that he saved Absol from the steam by catching it. But would Absol really want to stay with Go just because of this? Maybe, but in my opinion, Go did not do enough to earn or deserve Absol. This is another disappointing capture in a long list of underwhelming captures. Like honestly, I think that I'd rather see Go just throw a Pokeball to catch a Pokemon instead of having a Pokemon choose to be with Go just because. Absol is an amazing Pokemon that deserved a much more significant capture. Also, I guess that Lavaridge Town will be in serious trouble the next time a disaster comes, since Absol is now gone. The episode then cuts back to the inn where everyone is enjoying the hot spring, including the Glalie and the Snorunt, which is unusual because I would think that ice Pokemon want nothing to do with heat. Hodge thanks Ash and Goh, while his uncle decides to apologize for doubting Ash and Goh by dumping a bucket of ice-cold water on himself. Afterwards, he gets in the hot spring as well, and he says this lame joke that this whole situation is hot water under the bridge. Everyone ends up laughing as a result. Ash and Goh then leave Lavaridge Town while Hodge and the villagers say goodbye, and that's the episode. So overall, I have to say that I did not like this episode at all. It was a very disappointing episode, and not because Go caught Absol, but because the capture was very underwhelming and undeserved. Sure, I wanted Ash to catch Absol, but I knew going into the episode that Go would probably be the one to catch it. At this point, I know that most of the Pokemon that show up will be caught by Go, and it is pointless in most cases to hope that Ash will get to catch the Pokemon in question. So I am not really mad because Go caught Absol. What triggers me is the way that it was handled. Go did nothing to earn Absol's trust or affection, so why would Absol choose to stay with Go? It makes absolutely no sense. Sure, Go saved Absol, but it's not like he did something amazing to save it. He just threw a Pokeball. If instead Go would have, say, jumped in front of Absol, or maybe he would have pushed Absol out of the way when the steam was heading towards it, and Go ended up burned as a result, then I could say, okay, Go, you earned it. You were a true hero, but come on, he just threw a Pokeball. Absol should definitely be thankful, but that's about it. I think it would have been less infuriating if Go had simply thrown a Pokeball at Absol and that's it. Which is how Go catches almost every other Pokemon. Because Absol would have been caught and that's it, instead of having Absol choose to stay with Go for no apparent reason. Also, the villagers wanted to hunt Absol, so one possible scenario could have been that they attack Absol, maybe throw rocks at it or something, and Go steps up to protect Absol, and Go is hit by a few rocks while he covers for Absol. And then, Go says, don't worry Absol, I won't let them hurt you, I believe that you are innocent. Something cliched like this would have made this episode better. In the end, this episode was just a huge disappointment and a terrible waste of an amazing Pokemon like Absol. But that's the video, as always. Leave your own thoughts down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and would like to see more like it, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I love Pokemon and I love making videos on both the anime and the games. Also, please consider clicking the links on screen so that you can check out more videos like this right away. Thank you very much for watching, and let's meet again in the next video.